Yesterday I have given 2 examples for solving. That is a class work for you. I hope you people have solved that. Fine. Just put in a comment box if yes or no. Fine. Okay, Chetana Hazare. Show me the circuit diagram of this one. A. First question A. That is use 2, 3 or 4 input AND gates. And you have to draw the circuit for this. Okay. Please show me that. Please start your video and show me that.
Wait, sir.
It's not that clear. Hold the camera for a second actually. Don't move the camera, okay? Hold it for a minute. Fine. So that is correct. Okay. Now, anybody has solved the second one. That is the same first question using only 2 input AND gates. Just put me in the comment box. Okay, Kaushal Bhatt. Again, you start the camera and show me that. The second circuit diagram. For the first question only, you have to use the 2 input AND gates only. Wait, I will pin that. Let others also see that. Okay, you have used 2 input AND gates only. Fine. Can everybody see that? I think it is visible to all. Fine, Kaushal, very good. Now switch off your camera. Fine. Anybody has solved the second one? Simplify the expression using Boolean algebraic techniques. So here what you have to do? You have to simplify the Boolean algebraic equation first. After that, whatever the simplified equation you are getting, that equation you are going to implement using anybody has done that? The second one? Just put a comment if you are done. Second one, this one, simplified the expression using Boolean algebraic techniques. That is y is equal to ab plus a into b plus c plus b into b plus c. Anybody has done that? Just put a comment there if you have done that. First you have to simplify that. After that you have to draw the simplified logic circuit. You have to simplify that equation using all the basic rules, laws, theorems, if possible, and apply the properties, if possible. Then only you will get simplified Boolean expression. After that, you have to implement that using the basic gates. Anybody? Let me know if anybody has done that. Listen here, all of you. If you are not doing the class work, it will be very difficult for you. Okay, because the subject is like that, you have to do the classwork. If you solve many problems, then only you will get. Okay, Vignesh Naik, whether you have done that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Vignesh,
sir.
you have solved
Yes,
that?
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
show me
sir.
that. Put on the camera. Wait. Hold still. You put that paper upward, little bit upward. Wait. Little bit towards camera. Hold it. So you have got the final answer is B plus AC, right?
Yes, sir.
Kaushal, sorry, Vignesh, you
Yes,
have got
sir.
the answer B plus AC, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is correct answer. And whether you have solved the logic circuit, whether you have designed the logic circuit,
Yes, sir.
okay, show me that, the logic circuit. Okay, little bit upward. Fine. So this is correct. Okay, very good. Okay, those are the class works. You have to do it by your own, all of you. Fine. Now, let's start with the session now. Now we'll see in the prerequisites only sum of product terms and product of sum forms. Okay, sum of product form, that is SOP, they will call sum of product form, that is SOP, and product of sum forms. Okay, here you will see that the any logical expression or any logical equation, Boolean logic equation, that can be represented in terms of sum of product form or product of sum form. So they may, in the examination, they may call they may ask for the SOP form or for the till now whatever the logical expressions you have seen or the whatever the logical expressions you have solved. So all those expressions are there are terms like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So A, B and B, C, D and E, F, G, H in the previous example only. So those individual terms are called sum of product terms. Okay, those individual terms are called sum of product terms, that is SOP terms. I hope this presentation is visible now. Whether my presentation is visible?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
You can see that here, the sum of product form. The first, actually what I have done is, I have explained both SOP and POS, that is sum of product and product of sum in. We have compared those so that you can better understand both of them. Okay, you can see that here, in sum of product term, here several product terms are logically added. So whatever the first equation you have solved, that is AB plus BCD plus EFGH. So there are some product terms. There are three product terms. You have, what you have done, that you have logically added those. Okay, logically adding means you are using the OR gates. Okay, you can see that the example f of ABC, that is y is equal to a bar BC plus A, B bar C. So what these individual terms are called? So those are product terms. Okay, these X and Y I have written here. Fine, this is a X term, this is a Y term. For your convenience, I am writing that. So this X term is a one product term. Again, this Y is one more product term. Then what we are doing here in SOP, we are adding these or we are summing these product terms here. You can see that X plus Y. If you write, then you will get A bar BC plus A B bar C. So this is the sum of product form. That is, this Boolean expression is in sum of product form, or whatever you have solved in the previous examples also, those are sum of product form examples. Fine. So in POS, what we will do here, several sum terms are logically added. Fine. Here, several sum terms are logically added. You can see that here is one sum term, that is A plus B, and I am naming it by a small a, and here is one more sum term, that is A bar plus B, and I am naming it by a small b. So what we are doing here in product of sum form, we are adding these A and B, that is small a and B. Sorry, we are multiplying those, that is A plus B dot A bar plus B. So what we are doing here, we are logically multiplying. So here is the dot. So that is the logical multiplication we are doing here. So we are logically multiplying the several sum terms. You can see that. In SOP, we are logically adding the product terms. Here in POS, we are logically multiplying the sum terms. So that is the basic difference between SOP and POS. Fine. And you can see that we can represent SOP in terms of and or logic. Okay. We can represent any SOP, that is sum of product form expression, in terms of and or logic. You can see that. Because what we have done, you better you see the if you have solved the previous example, that is AB plus BCD plus EFGH. So in level there are two levels, you can say. In first level you will see only AND gates, and in the second level you will see one OR gate. Is that clear? So in level 1 you will see only AND gates, and in level 2 you will see OR gate. Okay. So this is how we are representing the SOP form. You can see that to represent this product term X, we need AND gate, 3 input AND gate. Again, to represent this second term, that is Y, we need one more AND gate. So that's why in the first level we will get only AND gates. So in the second level we need to add those. We need to sum those product terms. So for that we need a OR gate. You can see that. So that's why we call this SOP as a and or logic. We call this as a and or logic function. Similarly here in POS, you can see that we are multiplying the product terms here. Fine, we are multiplying the sum terms here. Sorry, we are multiplying the sum terms here. So in the level 1, it is reverse of the SOP only. In the level 1 we are getting OR gates, all the OR gates, and in the level 2 we are getting AND gates. So that's why we call POS as the OR and logic. So we call POS as the OR and logic. Fine. So this is the third difference, and you can see that here. That is what I have mentioned here. Therefore, we call it as a and or logic. Therefore, SOP term we call it as a and or logic, and similarly the POS function we call it as a OR and logic. Because you can see that in level 1 in SOP we will get only AND gates, in level 2 in SOP we will get OR gates. Similarly, for POS in level 1 we will get only OR gates, and in level 2 we will get only AND gates. So that's why the name, it is and or for SOP, and it is OR and for POS. Okay. And one more important comparison here is we can express any SOP expression as NAND logic. Okay. Previously we have expressed the any SOP function as and or logic. So this and or logic can be implemented using NAND logic. So that is not important for your syllabus, but you just remember that NAND logic. So that means here in the level 1 also you will get NAND gates, and in level 2 also you will get NAND gates. So this is how they are implementing the SOP form. Similarly here, the POS form, they can implement that POS using the NOR logic. That is NOR is a NAND and NOR are the universal gates, I have told you. So you can implement this SOP using NAND logic, and you can implement the POS using NOR logic. So meaning of NOR here is you will get both level 1 and level 2 gates are NOR gates only in POS. Fine. And you can see that the terms in the expression, you can see that here, the small x, the small y. Okay, the terms in the expression here in SOP function are called min terms. Okay, they call min terms, MIN terms, that is min terms. Similarly, the terms in the POS expression, that is small a and small b. So what are those small a and small b? I have named those product the sum terms as, that is a plus b, I have named it as a small a, and a bar plus b, I have named it as a small b. So these small a and b, we call it as a max terms here. Okay, you can see that the terms in the expression, that is POS expression, small a and b are called the max terms. Okay, and these min terms are represented by M0, M1 like that. Okay, and similarly here, that is the small M0 and M1. We have to represent the min terms in small letter, that is small M0, M1, M2 like that. So we will see that how to write that small m, which is the M0, which is the M1. We will see that in the next slide. And similarly for the max terms, we have to write that in the capital M0, capital M1 like that. Fine. And one more comparison we can make here is, here we use summation symbol for the representation of SOP. So this is the summation symbol. You might have used that in the mathematics, the summation symbol. So we use summation symbol for representing the SOP or min terms. Similarly, here we use the phi term. We call it as a pi term. You can see that phi symbol for representing the POS or max terms. Okay. These are the comparisons we can make for the SOP and POS. Okay. So any doubts with this? So if you have any doubts, then let me know in the comment box. So any doubts? Seventh point, okay. Seventh point here. So we'll see that here the symbol, we are representing a summation symbol. Actually to write the min terms, we need this summation symbol. We use this summation symbol in SOP form. And similarly, we use phi symbol for representing the POS function. We'll see that in the example next. Okay. Any other queries there? Any point if you are not got? Okay, fine. So one thing you have to remember here is the SOP function is a AND OR logic, and similarly POS function is a OR AND logic, and the product terms in the SOP we call it as a min terms, and the sum terms in the POS are called max terms. And here for SOP we need we use summation symbol for representing the min terms, and similarly we use phi symbol for representing the max terms. Okay, we'll see the SOP function now. So we can see here, fine, considering 3 input variables. I am considering 3 input variables. So that is for your logic circuit, I am considering 3 input variables, that is A, B and C. Okay, for those 3 input variables, the fundamental product terms are listed below. So you can see that. So these are the fundamental product terms. So if you consider 2 variable, 3 variable, 4 variable. So for your syllabus, maximum 4 variable they will give. So here I have considered the 3 input variable for your convenience, and you can see that here. So this is the decimal number 0, and we are representing that decimal number in binary here, that is 0, 0, 0. Again, this is the decimal number 1, and we are representing that in binary number, that is 0, 0, 1. Again, this is the decimal number 2, and we are representing that in binary, that is 0, 1, 0. Again, 3 as 0, 1, 1, 4 as 1, 0, 0, 5 as 1, 0, 1, 6 as 1, 1, 0, and 7 as 1, 1, 1. So what I have done here is, since there are 3 input variables, we need to represent them using the binary numbers. So since there are 3 input variables, actually, let me show you one thing. So if we have 3 input variables, so we have total, actually consider the general one, for n input variable, variables, there are 2n combinations. So if there are n number of inputs or n number of input variables are there in your logic function, so that will have total 2n combinations of inputs. Fine. So what we will do here is consider better you note it down, all of you. Okay. What I will do here is I will choose only one input variable now. If you choose one input variable, anybody, let me know what is the answer we'll get here. How many number of input variables?
2.
If I choose only one input variable,
2, sir.
2, sir.
choose only one input variable. Okay, we are getting 2 variables, fine. That is 2 input combinations. We call these as the input combinations. Fine. Similarly, what I will do, I will choose 2 input variables. So instead of 2 raised to 1, we have to make it 2 raised to 2. So what will be the total number of input combinations here?
4.
4.
4,
Fine.
sir.
Again, what we will do here is, I will make it 3 input variables. Okay, and it will be 2 to the power 3. Fine. Then what will be the total input combinations here?
8.
8.
8. Okay, fine. Again, what I will do, I will make it 4. Instead of A, B, C, I am making it A, B, C, D as the input variables. So it will be 2 to the power 4. So what will be the input combinations here?
16.
16. So that means whatever the right side you can see, you are seeing here, that is 2, 4, 8, and 16. So all those are the input combinations for the particular respective input variables. Is that clear? Is that clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you can see here, I have considered the 3 input variables there. Okay, you can see that here I have considered A, B, C as the 3 input variables. That's why I have total 8 input combinations. You can see that here. Start with the 0 and end with the 7. So there are total 8 input combinations. Fine. And they are representing this, the first term, with m naught, small m naught. You can see that here. We are representing the mean terms with small m and the max terms with the capital M. You can see that the number here is 0. So that's why we have written the mean term m naught Again, it is a 1. We have written for 2. We have written M2 like that. For 0 to 7, we have min terms small m M0 to small m7. Fine. So this is how we are representing the min terms here. Okay. Now for this, what we are doing, we are writing the fundamental product term. So for these input combinations, so these are the input combinations A, B, C. What we are seeing here is, so that is the particular input combination for this min term. So write the fundamental product term. So we have to write the fundamental product term here, sir. So for the first term, you can see here A, B, C. You can see that the fundamental product term I have written is A bar, B bar, C bar, or you can write it as A dash, B dash, and C dash. Because considering the positive logic here, okay, one thing you have to remember, note it down. I have considered the positive logic. So positive logic means for 0 we are considering logic low, and for 1 we are considering logic high. So that's why, since we are considering logic 0 for 0 and logic 1 for 1, you can see that here the A bar, B bar, C bar. How we have got this? Since these are the logic lows here, that is A, B, C. You can see that the logic lows here. You can see that here. Just a minute. You can see that here the input combination 0, 0, 0. So whenever there is whenever there is a 0, we are taking the complement of the input variable. Okay, you can see that for this one, since this is a 0, we are taking the complement of that term, that is the input variable. We have taken A bar. Again, this one B is 0, that's why we have taken the complement of the input variable B bar. Again, this is the C, that is 0. Once again, we are taking the complement of the input variable. So if there is a 0, 0, 0, then we have to take the fundamental product term for the respective min term will be A bar, B bar, C bar. Similarly, if you consider the 0, 0, 1, so it will be A bar, B bar, C, because since C is equal to 1, we are not taking the complement of that. Fine. Similarly, for 0, 1, 0, we are taking A bar, B. B because again, since B is not 0, we are not taking the complement. Since B is equal to 1, we are taking the variable as it is. And C is 0 here, that's why we are taking the term variable C bar. So like that, we have to write the fundamental product terms for all the input combinations of 3 input variables. So for A, B, C, we have 3 input variables here, and we have total 8 input combinations, and these are the fundamental product terms for 3 input variables. And these are fixed for all. If it is X, Y, Z input variables, then you will get mean term as X bar, Y bar, Z bar, X bar, Y bar, Z, X bar, Y. So like that. Just to change the input variables, you will get the fundamental product terms like that only. So whatever may be the input variable, you can see that in the fundamental product term. Fine. So is it clear how we have written that? Just put the comments there if it is clear. So any doubts in that? Anybody? Fine. Okay, Nikhil Mane, you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now this is how we'll write the fundamental product terms. Why we are calling these fundamental product terms? Because you can see that these are the product terms we are getting here. So that's why this is the SOP form or sum of product form. Okay. So this is how we have to write the fundamental products for any input variables. So consider here I have considered only A, B, C as the input, that is 3 input variables. So that's why how many fundamental product terms I have got? 8. Fine. If I have considered only two input variables, that is x and y. Okay. Let's say I have considered only x and y. So how many fundamental product terms I will get? Anybody? Only I have considered. Okay, fine. We will get 4 fundamental product terms. And similarly, if I have considered two input variables only, how many min terms I will get? How many min terms I will get? For two input variables only, consider x and y only. Okay, how many min terms I will get? 4. Can anybody name those in the comment box only? So what are those min terms? That 4 is correct. 4 min terms we will get. So what are those min terms? So these are the only 4 min terms, right? Small m0, m1, m2 and m3. So for 4 input variables, we'll get only the min terms small m0, m1, m2 and m3. Okay, fine. Similarly, if I consider 4 input variables, consider small a, small b, small c and small d. So how many min terms you will get? If I consider small a, b, c, d, okay, we will get total 16 fundamental product terms as well as 16 min terms. And let me know what will be the first min term and what will be the last min term. Just let me know in the comment box itself. Anybody? The first one is correct. What will be the first min term? And okay, Saujanya Samaje and Sakshi Patil. Okay, many are giving the right answers. You are correct. It will be the first will be m0 and the last will be m15. Okay, the first will be m0, that is small m0 you have to write. If you write capital, then we are treating it as a max terms. So that we'll see in the POS forms. Okay. Now you can see that the terms this m0, m1, m2, m3, m4 up to m7, these are called the min terms. Okay, those are called the min terms. And one more important assumption what we have made here is the truth table or the table what we have written, that is the table 1.1 here. So this is the 1.1 table. So that table is written by considering positive logic. Positive logic means 0 voltage for logic 0 plus 5 voltage for logic 1. Fine. And similarly, to generate the POS terms for the previous SOP terms, we have to apply the complementary property. So what we have to do, I have the SOP table here. That is the SOP table you can see here. So to make this SOP table POS, what you have to do, for the fundamental product terms, you have to apply just complementary property. Okay. To make this table POS, what you have to do, you have to apply the complementary property to these fundamental product terms. Fine. We have to apply the complementary property. So in complementary property, we have two steps. One is we have to apply the duality theorem, and the second one is we have to individual literals can be, we have to make the complement of the individual literals or individual variables. You can see that here. Okay, considering 3 input variable. Okay, you can see that. Better I will show it here. Okay, just see see it here. What is the first fundamental product term here? That is A bar, B bar, C bar. Okay, so that is the first fundamental product term. Okay, A bar, B bar, C bar. What you have to do for this A bar, B bar, C bar? Okay, this is the first fundamental product term here I have chosen, and now you have to make that a POS term. For the same SOP term, we have to make that a POS term. How to do that? What you have to do? Just apply the complementary theorem to that. So if you apply the complementary theorem there, you can see that here. If you apply the complementary theorem, what is the first step? That is the duality theorem. So if you apply the duality, what you will get? Anybody? If you apply the duality theorem to this A bar, B bar, C bar.
A bar plus B bar plus C bar.
Fine. We will get A bar plus B bar plus C bar. So in complementary, the first step is duality. So in duality, what we are doing? Wherever there is a product term, we are making it a sum term, and wherever there is a sum term, we have to make a product term there. So I will apply the duality here. So this will be the result after duality theorem. Fine. Is that clear? Okay. To make a POS term, I will take the same SOP term here, A bar, B bar, C. First, I will apply the duality property, and after that, you have to make the individual literals. You have to take the complement of the individual literals. So what will be after that? If you take the complement of the A bar, it will be A. If you take the complement of B bar, it will be B. If you take the complement of C bar, it will be C. Okay, you can see that here. So for A bar, B bar, C bar, what is the POS term we are getting? The respective POS term A plus B plus C. You can see that here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we are representing that POS term with the small. You can see that capital M naught. If you are representing, we have to represent the SOP terms in using small letter small m, and you have to represent the SOP POS using the capital M. You can see that all the M's are capital here in POS. Okay, now anybody just tell me the POS term corresponding to A, B, C bar. POS term corresponding to A, B, C bar. POS term corresponding to A, B, C bar. That is for min term 6.
A bar plus B bar plus C.
Okay, so that will be A bar plus B bar plus C. That is correct. So anybody for M3, that is for min term A bar B C, what will be the fundamental sum term? What will be the POS term for M3?
A B bar.
B bar plus C bar.
Okay, just any one of you. Okay, Kavita Dhawale sir, let me know what is the answer.
A plus B bar plus C.
A plus, I didn't heard you. A plus
B bar plus C bar.
A plus B bar plus C bar. Okay, that is correct. Okay, you can see that here, B bar plus C bar. Okay, so this is how we are converting the same SOP term to a POS term here. Is that clear? So this is how we have written this, all the fundamental sum terms here. We call these sum terms because you can see that this is again an individual term, okay, consisting of plus symbol. So that's why we call it as a sum term here. Again here you can see that in the SOP term, again these are the individual terms consisting of dot symbol. Since I have not mentioned dot here, you have to take that dot as an imaginary here. So these are the dot functions here. A bar dot B bar dot C bar, like that. Okay. So here SOP and POS. Any doubts in that? SOP and POS function? In comment box, if you have any doubts, put a comment there. Fine. Okay. Now, and these terms, and you have to remember one more thing here. In SOP, you will get the small m terms here. Min terms are represented by small m, and similarly, the POS terms are represented by capital M. You can see that the POS terms are represented by capital M, and those are called the max terms. And once again, we have made an assumption that the assumption for this table is we have considered the positive logic. The table is written by considering positive logic. Fine. Now we'll see the canonical forms. We'll see the canonical form. So in comparison of SOP and POS, I have mentioned the summation symbol and phi symbol. So we'll use that here in the canonical function. Okay, in the canonical forms, we will use those summation and phi functions to represent a canonical min term function or canonical max term function. You can see that here, the Boolean expression or Boolean function is represented by sum of min terms or product of max terms. So in the examination, they may give you a Boolean function. Either it may be in the form of sum of min terms, or it may be in the form of, we call that as a SOP function, or they may give you a function in terms of product of max terms, or they call it as a POS terms. Okay, so the whatever the questions you are getting, either it may be in the form of SOP or in the form of POS. And if you write that any Boolean expression in the form of SOP and POS, we call that form as a canonical form. So any Boolean expression can be written in the form of canonical forms. Okay, and you can see that here there are two types of canonical functions. So that is canonical min term functions and canonical max term functions. So as the name suggests, the canonical min term function is for SOP because the SOP has only min terms, and similarly the canonical max term function is for POS because the max terms are contained in the product of some forms only. Okay, you can see that the individual fundamental product terms in SOP expression are called canonical min terms, and the function is called the canonical min term functions. So whatever the fundamental product terms we have got in the table 1.1, fine. So those product terms can be used to represent a Boolean function, and that function is called the canonical min term function. Okay, from the table 1.1, if you see here, the M0 to M7, so those are called the min terms, right? M0 to M1, those are called the min terms, and you can see that here. You can see that here. Here we use summation symbol. This is the summation symbol to denote the min term function. Here we use summation symbol to denote the min term function. Consider a function is given for you, that is f of ABC. So ABC are the three input variables. ABC are the three input variables, and they have given this function for you, that is A bar BC plus ABC bar plus A bar B bar C bar plus A B bar C. So this is the Boolean expression or Boolean function they have given for you. Now what you have to do, they will ask you to write this Boolean function in the form of canonical min term form. Okay, canonical min term form. So if you see that, so this A, B, C, I have written there. So what will be the respective min term for that? Anybody? Just unmute your audio and tell me. For A bar B C, what will be the respective min term? Anybody? For A bar B C. Okay. For A bar B C, what will be the respective mean term for this one? I'm asking.
M3.
It will be M3, right? Fine. Similarly, for A, B, C bar, what will be the respective mean term? It will be
M6.
M6.
M6. Again, for A bar, B bar, C bar, what will be the respective mean term?
M0.
M.
M?
0.
M0. We call it as a M0. Okay, we call it as a M0. Fine. And what will be the respective mean term for this A, B bar, C?
M4.
M5.
M4.
It will be M5.
M5, sir.
It will be
M5.
M5. Okay, you can see that here. The respective mean terms are M3, M6, M0, and M5. Right? So better if you have written the table, then it will be very easy for you to identify the mean terms. Okay? Now we can see that since the mean terms of the given function are M0, M3, M5, and M6. So what you have to do, you have to arrange that in a serial manner. Start with the M0, M3, M5, and M6. So these are the mean terms. Now what I have to do, I have to represent that in a canonical mean term form. So in canonical form, the function is written as, you can see that here, f of ABC is equal to summation we have to use, because for canonical mean terms, I have already explained in the comparison SOP and POS, we have to use this summation function. Okay, we have to use this summation function, and we have written small m because we are representing the mean terms using small m here, right? And you have to write the mean term numbers here. So you have to write the mean term number in the bracket. So respective mean term numbers are 0, 3, 5, and 6. So that's what I have written here. That is 0, 3, 5, 6. So this is the canonical mean term form for the given Boolean expression. So they have given this expression and you have represented that expression in canonical mean term form. Okay. Some textbooks may prefer this one also, or in the examination they may ask like this also. So what they will do, they will give the Boolean expression and they will ask you to write the canonical mean term form, or they may, it may be vice versa also. It may be vice versa also. You can see that instead of small m, that is mean term, they have not written that small m here, and they have represented this in a canonical mean term form. Again, what they will do, okay, they will give the canonical mean term form. In the examination, usually the questions is like that. They will not give the Boolean expression. They will give the canonical mean term form, and from that you have to derive the expression. Okay. Let me check whether you have got this. What I will do, I will take the canonical mean term here. Okay. I will take this. Okay, what I will do. So here I have written f of ABC. Instead of 0, 3, 5, 6, what I will do, 1, 4, 1, 4, and 7. Okay, I will write it like this. I have written the canonical mean term form. Fine. Now, what I am asking you is, you have to write the respective Boolean function for this 1, 4, 7. You have to write the respective Boolean function for that. So what are the mean terms available here? M1, M4 and M7. So using those M1, M4 and M7, can anybody just tell me the Boolean expression?
A bar, B bar, C.
Okay, just tell me the
A,
first
B
one.
bar.
Okay, first one. It will be A bar, B bar, C, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, next tell me what is the next term?
A, B
A,
bar.
B bar, C bar.
It will be A, B bar, C bar.
C bar.
Okay.
A, B, C.
After that,
A, B, C.
A, B, C.
it will be fine.
C.
Okay. So for this canonical minterm form, so this is the Boolean expression. Okay, in the examination they will give you like this. So if this is considering A, B, C, that is only 3 input variables. So that's why the maximum number you will get here is 7 only. If it is a 8, then you have to take the one more variable. And in some questions, they will ask it like this directly. Instead of f of ABCD, f of ABC, they will directly mention only f, that is function here. And they will ask here 8, 9, 10, like that. So in those cases, you have to remember how many number of input variables required for that. So can anybody tell me how many number of input variables here?
Four.
Since you can see here, only 7 is there, maximum 7 is there in the previous question. So, okay, so you can get that 7 here in using 3 input variables only. To represent 8, okay, to represent 8, we need 4 input variables. Again, to represent 9, we need 4 input variables. Again, to represent 10, we need 4 input variables. So whenever there is a 8 or above, you can see that in the canonical form. Whenever there is a min term which is 8 or above, so in that case we need minimum 4 input variables. So your Boolean expression will be in terms of 4 input variables. 4 input variables there. Is that clear? It will be in, if you consider A, B, C, D. So you can write that this canonical form using 4 input variables A, B, C, and D. Okay. Now restrict to 3 itself. Now we'll see that in the later upcoming classes how to write the expression for 4 input variables. Okay. Is that clear with now? Till now, all of you? If you have any doubts here, if you have any doubts, then ask me now only regarding the canonical form. Fine. So that is about the canonical min-term functions. So similarly, the canonical max term is reverse of that. You can see that here. Directly I will show. This is the one example. You can see that the fundamental product terms are there. There are total 4 fundamental product terms, and the respective max term functions I have written M4, M1, M7, and M2. And what we have to do here is rearrange those. That is 1, 2, 4, 7, and you have to choose this. Instead of summation symbol, we have to use the phi symbol here, and instead of small m, we have to use the capital M here. So this is how we are representing the canonical max term functions. Fine. So this is about the canonical min term and max term form. So in the examination, if you I have uploaded the question papers. So if you see the model 2 questions, you will see that they have given the they have mentioned the questions like that. Better I will show one here. Just hold on for a second. I will show you how the question is. Okay, in the module 2 you can see that they have given this. Okay, f of a b c d, and they have how they have given. You can see that 1 comma 3 comma 4 comma 11. Again, these are don't care, we will see that later. Again, you can see that here. One more question, f of a b c d. Okay, again mean terms, they have written e of m here, that is 0 to 14. Okay, so this is how you will get. So looking at the equation only, or the Boolean function only, whether you can see that whether it is a min term form or whether it is in a max term form. Okay, fine. There are other points we have to be covered in the next class in the prerequisites only. After that, we'll start with the exact module 2 syllabus. Okay, all of you put your attempts there in the comment box.
Happy Teachers Day, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I hope everybody has given the attempts now. Fine, we'll end the class now.